Hello, WIM family. Years ago, a friend of mine, Bill Woods, told a story about a race he was in as a teenager. He said one day he went out and he saw this poster about a race that was going on that same day, and the main prize, was going to be a TV, and the winner was also like going to get their picture in the paper and all kinds of stuff. And he got so excited that he decided he was going to go out and get in this race. But the race was happening that day, and he realized he didn't have time to prepare. He just went with the clothes he had on. He was wearing a pair of blue jeans, and he wasn't dressed for it, hadn't prepared, but he runs out to get in this race. And he noticed there was a lot of older people and not that many young people like him, and he thought maybe he had a chance. So when the race started, he takes off running, and he's giving it all he's got, and he actually, he ends up doing really well in the race. It really narrows down to just him and this other kid. And it's just him and this other kid, and the other kid would pass him, and then he would put a burst of speed and get in front of that other kid. And he said, but his pants were uncomfortable, and he was hot, and he's sweaty. He's in Arizona, and he's really not dressed for the race, and he hadn't prepared. But he kept thinking about how nice it would be to get that TV and about getting his picture in the paper. And so he just kept running and running and running, and it was hard, and he was sweaty, and it was difficult. But in the end, he ended up being able to pull past the other kid and crosses the finish line first. And he's so excited. You know, they come up and they take his picture, and he's wanting to see the TV, and he's all excited, and everybody's excited. And somebody comes up to him and they say, okay, where's your sponsor list? And he goes, sponsor list? What sponsor list? And they said, well, this race, it was to raise funds for this local cause, and said, and everybody, to enter the race, you had to have a sponsor list. Where's your sponsor list? And he said, I just found out about the race. I don't have a sponsor list. And they said, oh, I'm sorry. And they went over and they took pictures of the kid who came in, the kid who was behind him, and they took his picture and they gave him the TV, and that kid won the prize, and Bill didn't get anything. And, you know, I've thought about that story a lot. I think there's two real points that you can draw from that story, and I just wanted to share it with you today. Number one is that if we keep our eyes on the prize, kind of like my friend Bill thinking about that TV and getting the picture, if we keep our eyes on the prize, that will help us make great sacrifices. But the second thing I want you to get from the story, and I think is even more important, is to remember our primary purpose. Because if we forget what this is all about, what we're doing, the reason we went on the mission field, the reason we're doing all of these things that we're doing as missionaries, is for Jesus. It's for God and His kingdom. It's to bring glory and honor to Him. And when we lose track of our primary purpose, then we run the risk of making these sacrifices in vain. And I want to encourage you today to keep your eyes on the prize, but also, most importantly, to remember our primary purpose. To remember that all the things we do, it should be for Him. He's not keeping track of who has the biggest church or who has the biggest head count of people they brought in. It's about Jesus. It's all about Jesus. And if we keep it about Jesus, then we never run the risk of not receiving our reward. We appreciate each of you for all the things that you do for the kingdom of God. And keep your eyes on Jesus. And as we are here in the office praying for you, trying to serve you, we're going to do the same, and remembering what it's all about.